Good times, Rock's greatest hits. It's the Marty Sheargold Show on Triple M. And Marty, look who we have here. Matt Gudinski's with us
Morning,
in
Matt.
studio.
Morning,
guys. How are you? Thanks
You're
for
out
having
on
me.
the hustings this morning. It's a big story. It's the 50th anniversary of Mushroom as a label, of course, started by your dad. What year was that?
Yeah, 1972 when the company started. And,
Yep.
you know, at that point, there was really no Australian music scene. It was in its early stages and
Yep.
no one was really investing in Australian music. And, you know, 50 years on, the Australian music scene is thriving in one of the biggest music markets in the world. And Mushroom's been part of that entire journey. So as an independent company to still be standing and independent 50 years later is something
It's
that
crazy.
we're really proud of and just shows that it wasn't a bad idea back in 1972.
There must have been huge companies come and have a tilt and either passively or aggressively make offers to consume Mushroom over the years.
Yeah, definitely over time. And with, you know, Mushroom's, you know, become a lot more than a record label. The Mushroom Group consists of near 30 different entities, and from the investing in Australian talent, bringing the biggest artists in the world out here, and among so many other things, it's grown to be a juggernaut and something that it's just, yeah, it's part of the fabric of Australian music and Australian culture.
And Australian radio, because one of the big jokes as a bloke who's been around now for 20 years in the business is program directors, as we used to call them, before they changed their name to content directors, whilst having nothing to do with content, which is the grand irony. Used to all walk around in bomber jackets that had Mushroom on the back
That's
of them.
right.
And that
Yeah.
for about 10 years was their uniform, a Mushroom bomber jacket, sort of acid wash, sort of
Tight jeans.
tight jeans and diesel shoes. Do you remember the diesel sort of faux sneaker?
I remember the
some.
look, and promotion's one of our strong points. And, you know, my dad loved to get everyone wearing the Mushroom gear. I'm wearing a new Mushroom shirt now.
Lovely.
So we've always got to promote the business. But, yeah, look, Triple M has been a huge supporter and great supporter of Mushroom over the entire journey. And, yeah, it's great to be here chatting to you guys about it today.
It's lovely to have you in, and you're right. The list goes on and on and on of people that have been attached to Mushroom, from Paul Kelly through to Missy Higgins. I mean, it's quite unbelievable, really. When do you remember sort of becoming a part of the business and recognising what your dad did?
You know, I mean, pretty much straight out of the womb, I was on Jimmy Barnes tours, and I sort of started remembering the first shows I would go to probably from about 5 years old, whether it was Billy Joel on tour, whether it was Barnesy, whether it was Kylie, whether it was Madonna when she first came out to Australia. The list goes on. And, you know, now I've been actually in the business for the better part of 25 years. And so, I've, you know, been there for half the journey. So my 50th anniversary is still a little bit away. But you know, it's just been something, you know, privileged to be a part of. When I was growing up, you know, kids, music was different. It was not easy to, you know, it wasn't as easy as it is today to go to concerts, or, you know, you couldn't afford to buy a CD. And now music's so accessible to everybody. And it's just amazing to see, you know, my niece, who's 4 years old, walks around singing Ed Sheeran and Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
So it's just become an even deeper part of everyone's lives.
Was there a period after your dad passed away where you wondered what the future of the business was, what your own involvement would be in it?
No, I mean, I was pretty much leading the company hand in hand with Dad, or definitely leading the day-to-day for probably the last 10 years. So, you know, lucky I had the time with him, and we were very aligned with what the future looked like and where we were going. So, you know, there was never any concern or thought, not only from myself, but anyone in the business, that the great foundations and legacy that my dad had left was going to go any other way than up.
You know, at the end of the day, he did a lot of promoting. Was there one where he just did his dough? Was there one where he still used to talk about it over the table at Christmas and go, why? Why didn't I put more band posters up?
There's a pretty big list of those, like for any promoter. But you know, one in particular, I'm trying to think if anything stands out. I mean, you know, I think Meatloaf was a bit of a regret after the AFL Grand Final.
Yeah. Was your dad around him on the day? Was it like because
I think
the story
he was
out
pretty
of
worried from the rehearsal the day before.
I think the story out of the Meatloaf,
Or the lack of rehearsal.
the story out of the Meatloaf camp was bit of a streppy kind of throat arrangement, and then he felt as though he'd done okay.
I think the only positive was that because he was touring at the time and we'd actually already sold all the tickets for the concert. So normally, you're looking for an opportunity like the grand final to help sell the tickets. But in that case, thank God they were all
Tickets were
They
sold.
were all sold.
Did your dad have?
And there was no refunds as well. So.
I mean, your dad would have had favourite people in the business, but did he have favourite bands? Was there?
Oh, definitely over time, artists like the Police was one of the, and Sting, one of the original artists that he would work with from an international front. Barnesy and, the Barnes and Gudinski families have always been so close, and Dad and Jimmy had a amazing
Wonderful
association and success over 30 plus years. Kylie was another one close to his heart. Ed Sheeran, very, very close. The Eagles, Billy Joel, Kings of Leon, Arctic Monkeys.
Bruce Springsteen had lovely words to say about your dad when he passed.
Springsteen was one that was a real special one to start working with, a real bucket list sort of item for Dad and I to tick off when we first toured Bruce back in around 2012 or 2013. And I mean, one of the best live performers in the world. And
unbelievable.
His concerts are just phenomenal. Whether you know all these songs or not, he plays for over 3 hours, and it's just... it's a mind-blowing experience and one of probably the best live artists I've ever seen over time.
Are you doing much R&D now, or is that somebody else in the business? Do you find yourself down at the Tote or any of those kind of...
Definitely. Well, the core of Mushroom from 1972 has been about investing in new Australian talent, and the pool of artists in Australia is not only as strong as ever, but larger than ever as well. So it's not as easy to find a hidden gem these days in the digital era, because anyone that's knows they're half decent puts it online and everyone finds out about it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, isn't it? The idea of grafting your way up through the pubs seems a little foreign these days.
It still happens a lot, but yeah, definitely out there, always looking for the next big thing or another great artist for us to commit to. And the core of Mushroom, while we do so much and we tour all these amazing international artists, is really about investing in Australian artists and our local talent.
You must have built up friendships in the business. Do you have like a 12-monthly lunch where you get with Paul Dainty and all of those guys and go, how are you going? Who was your biggest disaster? Tell some war stories.
Sorry, who'd you say?
You don't have lunch.
Look, it's very competitive between all the promoters, but I think everyone works together to help each other out most of the time where we can, and especially after what the pandemic did to the live music industry and how challenging that was for everybody to survive. So, look,
there are times when you all come together, like Tsunami and the bushfire stuff.
The music industry always, comes to the party when there's a need or there's a disaster or a situation. One of our greatest moments was what we did with Sound Relief back in 2009, and even what really driven by my dad, what we did at this early stage of the pandemic with an event like Music from the Home Front.
Yeah, that was great.
It's definitely something that we always ensure we're there to do whatever we can and use the power of music to, I guess, not only raise funds, but cheer everyone up.
So it feels like there'll be some events happening through the year, culminating in a concert in November, which is as yet to be sort of you've probably fleshed it out, but you're not telling anyone the whole story at the moment. What can we look forward to along the way?
So starting today, we're releasing a number of reimagined versions of various Mushroom classics.
Great.
One of our great artists, the Temper Trap, have done an amazing version of the Church's song Under the Milky Way.
We should play that, Matthew.
Yeah.
Can we drop the needle on that?
That's out from today, and I wouldn't be here if you guys weren't going to play it. So I hope you play
That's
it
already been
afterwards.
organised, Matthew. Well done.
So that one comes out today, and a number of other songs by so many amazing Australian and international artists over the rest of the year. There's an amazing documentary coming out later in the year that's not only about the Mushroom journey, but also about my dad's career and how everything got started with Mushroom, which is just going to be something that is really special. I'm sure as we get closer to that being released, we'll talk more about it. We've got a concert at the end of the year. There's an amazing range of merchandise out and many other initiatives that over the coming weeks and months, we'll start to make announcements about for people to get involved in the celebration of the mushroom journey. And so many great mushroom songs have been part of people's, their childhood, their upbringing, and especially throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the music that mushroom brought out, as well as the recent years. But I know there's so many people out there that will say, "Hey, this song really, helped my life get along, or do what it might." Or impact people in the way they have. So, look, we're expecting everyone to really embrace the celebrations and want to make everyone part of it.
Yeah, well done, Matt. I'm sure you've had some challenging times over the last couple of years, but it feels like, the boat steadied itself and everyone's moving forward.
Yeah, definitely.
As difficult as that is at times. It was lovely to see yourself and Ed Sheeran down at Rod Laver with your dad's statue having a glass.
Yeah,
Or
nice
was it
glass
a
of red.
plastic cup from memory? Was it red wine in a plastic cup?
It was definitely not look, my dad didn't mind drinking red wine out of anything.
Yes.
Whether it was a plastic cup, the bottle, a nice glass, or whatever it may have been. So, but no, they were glasses.
Oh, thank God, because we were a bit concerned. We thought, surely not a plastic cup down at the statue. It's lovely to meet you. It's lovely to chat with you, mate.
Cheers. Thanks for having me in.
Thank you.